Today, we will talk about top 10 places to visit in Venice. So before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, also subscribe to my channel. 1. St. Mark's Basilica. Certainly Venice's best-known church, and one of the most easily recognized in the world. St. Mark's Basilica, Basilica di San Marco, was originally the Doge's private chapel, decorated with Byzantine art treasures that are part of the booty brought back by Venetian ships after the fall of Constantinople. The gold-backed mosaic pictures above the doorways on the facade only hint at the mosaic artistry inside, where 4,240 square meters of gold mosaics cover the domes and walls. These set a distinctly Byzantine tone to its soaring interior, but you'll find treasures from other periods, including later mosaics designed by Titian and Tintoretto, names you'll encounter all over the city. 2. Piazza San Marco, St. Mark's Square. The vast expanse of Venice's largest square is brought together and made to seem almost intimate by the elegant uniformity of its architecture on three sides. But more than its architectural grace, St. Mark's Square, Piazza San Marco, is loved as Venice's living room, the place everybody gathers, strolls, drinks coffee, stops to chat, meets friends and tour guides, or just passes through on the way to work or play. Three sides are framed in arcades, beneath which are fashionable shops and even more fashionable cafes. The open end is bookmarked by the erratic, exotic curves, swirls, mosaics, and lacy stone filigree of St. Mark's Basilica. 3. Canal Grande. Sweeping through the heart of Venice in a giant reverse S curve, the Grand Canal is the principal boulevard through the city, connecting Piazza San Marco, Rialto Bridge, and the arrival points of the rail station and bridge from the mainland. Only 4 bridges cross its 3.8-kilometer length, but stripped-down gondolas called traghetti shuttle back and forth at several points between bridges. The Grand Canal was the address of choice for anyone who claimed any influence in Venice. Palaces of all the leading families open onto the canal, their showy Venetian Gothic and early Renaissance facades facing the water by which visitors arrived. 4. Torre dell'Orologio, Clock Tower. To one side of the basilica, facing onto Piazza San Marco, is one of Venice's most familiar icons, a clock tower surmounted by a pair of bronze Moors that strike the large bell each hour. The face of the clock shows phases of the moon and the zodiac in gilt on a blue background, and above the clock is a small balcony and a statue of the Virgin. Above that, the winged line of St. Mark and mosaic of gold stars against a blue background were added in 1755 by Giorgio Massori. The tower itself is from the 15th century and typical of Venetian Renaissance architecture. Through an arched gateway at its base runs one of Venice's busiest streets, the narrow Calle Merceri. 5. Campanile. Standing like a giant exclamation point above the expanse of Piazza San Marco, the Campanile is not the first to stand here. The original one, erected as a lighthouse in 1153, collapsed dramatically into the piazza in 1902 and was rebuilt on a firmer footing. Also rebuilt was the Loggia at its base, a small marble loggia completed in 1540, where members of the Great Council assembled before meeting in the sessions. In the loggia at the base, you can see Sansovino's 4 bronze masterpieces between the columns, all of which were rescued from the rubble after the collapse. 6. Santa Maria della Salute. One of the most photographed churches in Venice, Santa Maria della Salute has a postcard setting, rising at the tip of a peninsula across for the Doge's palace. The monumental Baroque church was built as thanks for the end of the plague of 1630, but the fragile land wouldn't support its tremendous weight, so its architect, Baldassare Longina, had more than 1 million timbers driven into the floor of the lagoon before he could erect the church. 7. Scuola Grande di San Rocco. This impressive white marble building was built between 1515 and 1560 to house a charitable society dedicated to San Rocco. Soon after its completion, the great 16th century Venetian artist Tintoretto won the competition to paint a central panel for the ceiling of the Sala dell'Albergo by entering the building and putting his painting in its intended place before the judging, much to the irritation of his rival artists. 8. Teatro La Fenice. The name La Venice, the Phoenix, chosen at the constriction in 1792, proved prophetic, as like the mythical Phoenix, it has risen from the ashes. The theater has been destroyed by fire 3 times, the last one in 1996, leaving only the outer walls standing. Each time, it has been rebuilt and continues to be one of the world's great opera houses. Throughout its history, but particularly in the 19th century, La Venice saw the premieres of many of the most famous Italian operas, including those of Rossini, Donizetti, and Verdi, and today schedules opera and ballet performances and musical concerts. 9. Santa Maria Gloriosa dei Frari. This Gothic church was begun by the Franciscans about 1340 and finished with the completion of the facade, interior, and 2 chapels in the middle of the 15th century. Its impressive 14th century campanile is the second highest in the city. Although the interior is in keeping with the simple, unadorned style of Franciscan churches, it contains a wealth of artistic treasures. In the right transept is an important wood statue of St. John the Baptist by Florentine sculptor Donatello, done in 1451, first chapel to the right of the sanctuary. 10. Gallery dell'Accademia, Fine Arts Museum. Called Accademia for short, this museum on the Grand Canal has the most important and comprehensive collection of 15th-18th century Venetian painting in existence. Much of the collection was assembled from monasteries and churches that were closed and from the clearing of palaces of noble families, now displayed in the former monastery of Santa Maria della Carita. Some of the galleries, such as the first one, which contains Venetian Gothic painting, have richly carved and gilded 15th century ceilings. Works are arranged chronologically. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.